Please be advised that this video is for the sole purpose of entertainment. Any views are purely my own, are subjective and may not necessarily be true. I do, however, do extensive research for all of my videos. All photos have been found on the public domain. I am using them under the fair use and fair dealing guidelines. I urge everybody to do their own research. Well, hello, it's Murky Meg here. It's Tuesday the 9th of June, and this video I'm going to talk about the various articles that are starting to be written regarding Meghan's school talk and the Black Lives Matter. Now, I have refrained from doing a video on this because I personally don't feel comfortable talking about it. I'm not going to actually talk about the video itself because I think that's done and dusted. I don't have anything further to say, and I don't think I have anything that I could say that would work either way. And I hope that you appreciate my stance on that. I don't really want to delve into that very difficult topic with what's happening in the world right now. What I will say, I find it extremely unusual with the fact that there was a big YouTube event over the weekend, and it was the class of 2020. This was arranged by Michelle and Barack Obama, and a lot of people took part in it. It was speeches that addressed the Black Lives Matter and COVID crisis. Beyonce was part of it, Katy Perry was part of it. It was almost like a virtual graduation ceremony on YouTube. Taylor Swift was also included, Jennifer Lopez, and Meghan did this address to her old school, which is the Immaculate Heart School, because of this very reason, because she felt that she wanted to give back to her old school the children or the young adults that aren't graduating. So she wanted to address this. But surely she would have been perfect to be included in this YouTube event. And I am perplexed as to why she wasn't part of it, but did her own thing. I'm a bit perplexed also if the school hasn't addressed that she did this. They haven't put it on any social media platforms. They haven't advertised that she took part in this. In fact, she wasn't the main speaker. Christine Knudsen was. She is the long-time theology instructor and chair of the theology department. She was the commencement speaker as part of this virtual graduation ceremony. I have a hunch, and this is only my opinion, but she wasn't actually asked to speak at all. She offered. There is a huge difference between being asked and offering. The video was released not by the school, but by a black women's magazine called Essence. Now, they've done several features on her before, but it's really perplexing of why the school didn't advertise this and why it was released by the magazine and how they obtained this. There's also articles suggesting that both Harry and Meghan are quietly educating themselves about Black Lives Matter movement. But I don't want to offend anybody here, but shouldn't Meghan already know and be educated on this very subject? This particular article that suggests that they are quietly educating themselves, of course, was a huge puff piece. How do I know that? Because the information was released by Meghan's mouthpiece himself, Omid Scooby. I would like to officially ask him, are you her publicist now? Because it seems that way. My main concern with all of this is, look at her wedding day. Did anybody from her mother's side attend the wedding? No. That to me screams that this itself is a PR exercise. And I think Meghan has finally been given the perfect fit to run with and to gain traction. Something that she could put her time into, knows a little bit about, and to completely monopolize the agenda for her own personal gains. Isn't using this movement for your own gain something that should be very, very wrong? It doesn't sit well with me, this whole issue of her doing this. Great that she did it. I think it's amazing that she did it. But why release it via a magazine and not the school themselves? And then then why follow up with an article that uses Omid as the source, saying that they're educating themselves? They are just purely trying to put themselves on that pedestal of the movement to gain traction and to make themselves more relatable. Did she take part in the protests? Did Harry? Nothing suggests they did. What she did was sit behind a computer screen and talk to her school, which in itself is admirable and very, very worthy. And I really do mean this. I am glad that she did this, but I don't think she's done this for the right reasons, because she mentions herself 37 times and it kind of was overshadowed by this whole BLM movement. Now, don't get me wrong, it's very, very important, but this was about school children graduating, yet she chose to talk about something that is extremely relevant in this world. I don't see the two connections between giving a commencement speech to a group of people who should be graduating and to talk about her life experiences. By the way, her sister Sam has also confirmed that she was nowhere near the LA riots in 1992. But that's by the by. This all feels like the thing that they did just before they shut their Instagram account down. Can you remember? They wanted to present us with the facts on COVID and not fake news. They were all gearing up to be the shining beacons of truth for COVID, and then they had to stop because they were told that they cannot post after they left the royal family. To me, this just seems exactly like that. They were trying to jump on the bandwagon, and I don't say that very lightly. It seems that it's self-serving, and to my own personal opinion, it just seems like they were trying to publicise themselves, not through the video, but through what transpires after it, with the following articles, trying to just ram home that she is all over this and that she is extremely invested in what's going on in the world right now. If you wanted to do something incredibly important, you do not need to publicise it, because self-publicising makes a mockery of your wanting to remain in private and have a private life for your son. If it was so important that these meetings were done quietly because that's all that they can ever do, why are we hearing about them? It's just simply a PR move. And evidently because it came from Omid's mouth. Yes, more people need to be educated on this matter. It's an incredibly important matter. But you've got to remember that Meghan is living in the plushest house in LA, free. She has all of her security paid for. £7,000 a day or so, I have heard. They have an allowance in excess of £2 million per year. Both went to expensive private schools. They aren't world leaders or highly educated professionals that should be talking on this matter. They aren't activists and they aren't fighting on the front line. Harry has lived a very sheltered life of unimaginable riches. He has been sheltered from the real world. He also has a very sketchy past when it comes to racism. Now, I don't say this very lightly. He said something appalling. He used one of the most offensive racial slurs that anybody that can use at all. And it hit the headlines. He had to make a public apology. He's no saint with regards to this. So out of everybody, I think that he needs to be educated even more than Meghan, because he has a very checkered past with regards to this. What is concerning is that as a member of the British royal family, Harry knows that he shouldn't be getting into politics, and this is exactly what they're doing. They are wading into a political minefield at the moment, and this could very well affect their deal with the royal family with their 12-month trial period. I'd love to know your thoughts on whether or not this you think could affect that. If they go quite heavy into this, is that them getting political? Part of the agreement with the royal family was that they should not be involved in anything that could put the royal family in a negative light. And if they lean on this movement in the way that I think that they will be, this could very well happen. You know, The Queen has every right to say, you haven't behaved in a way that we see fit. Yes, you should have been able to do that as a non-working royal family member, but you still have to abide by certain rules because you still are part of the royal family. And by connotation, you have to watch what you do. By wading heavily into what's happening at the moment, could they jeopardize everything? I'd love to know your thoughts on that particular question and whether or not they will run with this, because I think that she is perfectly poised to make this her new project. They said that it was completely off the cuff, this video, and that she was not scripted. That is a total lie. Again, it was out of Omid Scooby's mouth. She was scripted. We all know it. She looked several times down to read what was in the notes. If you have notes, that's still scripted. To do something from your heart, if you're really impassioned and feel so strongly about it, you shouldn't need scripted. But to suggest that it wasn't scripted is completely, in my opinion, completely untrue, because it was. She's not that good of an actress, I'm afraid. I know that's harsh, but it's my words. I will finish off this particular segment to say that, yes, I think that she did the right thing by speaking up, because everybody was saying, well, where's Meghan? Why hasn't she addressed this? And while she probably felt a little bit insecure in doing it and maybe forced to saying something, I think she did the right thing in speaking up, but I don't think it was under the right circumstances. You shouldn't overtake a graduating ceremony with your own personal opinions and what you want out there in the world. They should have done it under a different guise, completely separate to this. I think it would have been a lot more powerful, and also it would have just met the right mark. But what she looks like she's doing is trying to jump on a bandwagon now, especially with following all of these puff pieces coming out that both her and Harry are educating themselves and that she didn't do it scripted. It's nonsense. You're trying to ram down the narrative that she's on board with all of this and that she's taking meetings left, right and centre on how she can actually work this to her advantage. It seems disingenuous, to be perfectly honest, and it just seems like a massive PR move. And I expect more will come with regards to this. She is completely poised to run with this and to save the day, just like they were trying to do with their Instagram before it got shut down with COVID. I would love to know your thoughts on this. What did you think was the real reason she did the video? Why do you think the school hasn't released it, and why Essence magazine has? How did Essence get it? Silly question, I know, because we all know that. Why is Omid Scooby yet again speaking on behalf of Meghan and Harry when really he's technically just a royal reporter, but at the moment he really does seem like their publicist? Should this have been done? And did it work? Did it get the message? Did you feel that it was heartfelt? As always, let me know your thoughts. Thank you very much for watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, hit the notification bell and also that like button. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank all of my followers for all the tips and all the emails, DMs that everybody sends to me. It really is greatly appreciated. So thank you very much for watching once again.